Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. I'm your host, Rick Doherty. I'm going to be flying solo on the show today, at least for the first part of the episode, while I talk about Universal Studios Florida and their Mardi Gras 2021 International Flavors of Carnival. Obviously, with everything going on, Universal had to change up their Mardi Gras celebration this year. But spoiler alert on this episode, I think they did one heck of a great job. At the end of the show, my wife Courtney will join me for a dining review about the Plaza restaurant on Main Street, USA in Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. Please do me a favor, especially if you're listening to this on YouTube. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share with friends. It really does help the show. And for a free, no obligation quote on a Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando Resort, or any other type of vacation, shoot me an email, rick@eartotheretravel.com, rick@eartotheretravel.com, or you can give me a call, 727-507-3123. I also want to mention that we do have a lot of topics to cover on the show, but I guarantee you we will be getting to an episode about Epcot's Flower and Garden Festival coming up later this month. The festival just recently got started, and if you're looking for coverage of it immediately, I have a lot of it at facebook.com/eartothererick. facebook.com/eartothererick. I will have videos, photos, and even a Facebook Live or two over the course of that festival that does run until early July. So I thought it was more important to do an episode right now about Universal Studios Florida Mardi Gras 2021 International Flavors of Carnival. This event only runs through March 28th. So if you're looking to experience the event, you kind of have to get on the ball about it. But I will say Universal Orlando Resort has a ton of great deals going on right now. If you're in the area, it really might be worth your time to try to make it happen. I decided that I wanted to experience this event for the first time in 2021 on the big day, the day before Ash Wednesday, whether you call it Fat Tuesday. I grew up in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. We called it Fosnot Day. But since the whole point of Mardi Gras is getting in one big celebration before Lent starts, I thought it was appropriate to go on Fat Tuesday. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't the only person who had that idea. It was crowded. I will say that it did take a perfect storm of events to make it that crowded on Fat Tuesday, because you had a Saturday, followed by Valentine's Day on Sunday, President's Day on Monday, Fat Tuesday on Tuesday, and then, of course, Ash Wednesday following that. As many of you know, as you enter Universal Studios Florida and start to make your way through the park, you're greeted by a sign that shows you wait times throughout the park. When I saw that board, I knew it wasn't going to be a regular Tuesday at Universal, because the wait times were 75 minutes for E.T., 120 minutes for Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. Guests were even waiting in line for upwards of 2 hours to see the Shrek 4D show. That being said, Universal did everything in their power to try to keep everybody spread out, to have enough going on so that not everybody was cluttered at 2 or 3 different locations throughout the park. One of the things they did was provide a ton of character interaction. Since the parks reopened back in June of 2020, they have had socially distant character meet and greets. You can walk up to a line, turn around, take a selfie with the character who is standing about 6 feet, maybe a little bit more behind you. But this still allows for meet and greets with characters without having to put anybody at risk. On this particular day, those meet and greets were everywhere. You had normal meets like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee from Transformers, Marilyn Monroe, SpongeBob SquarePants, Dora the Explorer, Bart Simpson, hashtag the panda, Puss in Boots, and so on and so on. But there were also some characters that you just don't usually find on a normal Tuesday, like Sideshow Bob and Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons. I even heard somebody say that Hello Kitty was out earlier in the day. These theme parks are about so much more than just rides, that giving us opportunities to experience other things while rides have extremely long waits, that shows guests that you really care about them. Moving on to the actual Mardi Gras celebration, the atmosphere is just electric when you get there. Of course, it was crowded. As long as everybody's following the health guidelines, and they were for the most part, it really does create that party atmosphere, and we haven't had that in a while. In past years, they had parades for Mardi Gras. Well, they can't do that this year because of all the social distancing that would just go out the window if they had a parade. So they have the floats scattered throughout Universal Studios Florida, and this is almost like taking an event that would happen a few times during the day and making it last the entire park day. I have to say, I almost like this better because something is always happening. There would be stilt walkers in front of the floats and dancers on the floats throwing beads at you. There would be musicians on some of the floats. It is just a giant party in almost every nook and cranny. The large-scale decorations also made for some great photo opportunities. I'm 6'4", and they had Mardi Gras masks that were taller than me. They have a big NOLA sign right by the water. The whole thing is very, very Instagrammable. Another holiday celebration means another tribute store, and the Mardi Gras tribute store is just phenomenal. It is beautiful inside there. First, you enter a jazz parlor that has some masks. It's set up like it's supposed to be a dueling piano bar. There's a drum kit and some instruments for a jazz band. It's really, really cool. It has a great dark vibe. You keep moving through to what I call a Bayou Graveyard. It's very swampy. It's sort of spooky, almost brings back some of those Halloween Horror Nights vibes. You keep going through a waterfront warehouse and then a swamp with the remains of Jean Lafitte's ship. Of course, all throughout the tribute store, you can find that Mardi Gras 2021 International Flavors of Carnival merchandise. And in that last room, that is where you find the snacks. Among other treats, you'll find the king cake, praline cookies, moon pies, mixed berry sour gummy skulls. And for those of you in the plant-based vegan community, there is a vegan brownie skull. Back when it was still the Halloween tribute store, I did try that version of the vegan brownie skull, and it was very, very good. This time I opted for the king cake. I can't recommend the king cake enough. First of all, very photogenic. Your social medias will love it, but more importantly, your taste buds will love it. It has some cinnamon flavor, some vanilla flavor. The cake is really moist. Definitely a quality, full dessert. Grab a slice while you're there. You will not regret it. It seems like all these events, both at Universal Orlando Resort and at Walt Disney World, always seem to have scavenger hunts. I love to do it because it gives me an excuse to go places in the park I might not normally visit. Well, for Mardi Gras 2021, Universal Studios Florida has the crew crawl. There are different setups with skeletons and beads and just different decorations in a whole bunch of stores throughout Universal Studios Florida. The map costs $7.99 and shows you generally where all of the displays can be found. Once you locate the display, a Universal team member will stamp that particular spot on the map. After collecting all your stamps, you're rewarded with a special set of beads to commemorate your accomplishment, and I assure you these are very, very quality beads. It's fun to collect the free ones that they're throwing off of the floats, but I have a bigger head. I had a hard time getting some of them around my big noggin. Also, one or two of them did break when I was trying to take them off at the end of the day, but the ones you get for completing the crew crawl are much, much better than that. Even one of them has a big fancy mask on it as like a medallion. It's definitely a fitting trophy. And now it's the moment you've all been waiting for, and of course, that is the food. It is Mardi Gras 2021 International Flavors of Carnival, so we have to start talking about some of those flavors. First of all, there are a couple of different ways to pay at these food booths. Either you want to pay for each item individually, you can do that. You don't have to worry. If you just want to get one or two things, you can just go up with your credit card and buy those one or two things. Also a note, if you are a Universal Annual Pass holder, you can get your discount at these food booths. So make sure you're doing that every time if you're paying as you go. You can also purchase a tasting lanyard where you can sample 10 items for $55 plus tax. If you're an annual pass holder, you can purchase an exclusive lanyard that includes 15 items for $65 plus tax. You can certainly make it worth it, where either one of these will save you a lot of money if you're really looking to sample a lot of different options. I'm only one man, so obviously I wasn't able to try everything, but I promise I will be going back a few more times throughout the festival, and I'll continue to post pictures and videos on my Facebook page, facebook.com/eartothererick. Go there, you will see a lot of great pictures of some of the food from International Flavors of Carnival. The first booth I did hit on Fat Tuesday was the Belgium booth. I got the Belgium Liege waffles for $4.49. They were sweet Liege waffles and strawberries with whipped cream and chocolate. Obviously, I don't know if I'm pronouncing Liege right. That is a vegetarian option, obviously not a vegan option. Very good. It was sweet, but not too sweet. Loved it. Definitely recommend the Belgium Liege waffles. However, if you're trying to figure out a way to get the most money out of your lanyard, that may be one you want to pay for out of pocket because it is one of the more affordable options, along with the other thing I got at the Belgium booth, which is the Brussels frites with roasted garlic veganese. This is gluten-free and vegan. It only costs $3.99. Crispy seasoned fries with 3 dipping sauces. A garlic veganese, andalouse. I don't know what that is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the other 2 sauces, but here's the deal. They were really, really good, and they tasted creamy. They didn't taste vegan. Yes, if you do have a plant-based diet, this is definitely going to be an option you're going to want to try, but don't shy away from it if you're not vegan thinking it's going to taste bad. It is really, really good. Those dipping sauces were great. Moving on to what I think was my favorite item of the entire day at the Bahamas booth. I got the jerk jackfruit. Now, they also have a jerk chicken option. Those are the only 2 food options at the Bahamas booth. So the jerk jackfruit is jerk marinated jackfruit with rice and peas and a Scotch benet salsa. The jerk chicken is the exact same thing, except for it's jerk marinated chicken with rice and peas and that Scotch benet salsa. The jackfruit is $7.49, the chicken is $7.99, and I will tell you, you are going to love this. Either one you pick, you are going to love it. It is seasoned perfectly. It's nice and spicy. It's hearty. It's so good that I recommend drinking water with it instead of maybe a beer or a soda, because you might need a drink because of the spiciness, but I think you're also going to want to keep that aftertaste in your mouth for just a little bit longer because it really, really is great. I kept moving through the park till I came to the Germany booth where I got the vegan Bratwurst with beer braised onions. Obviously, this is a vegan option for $8.99. It's a vegan Bratwurst, beer braised onions, spicy mustard, and a warm baguette. There is also a Bratwurst with beer braised onions for $8.99, which is just a non-plant-based Bratwurst with beer braised onions, spicy mustard, and a warm baguette. I will say this was underwhelming for me. It was good. I'm not saying don't get it. If you have a lanyard, I definitely say get it, because with that $8.99 price tag, it is one of the more beneficial items to get with your lanyard. For me, it was just okay. And it did come with some chips, and the chips were phenomenal. It was a good option. It was a filling option. It just wasn't a great option. Now, if you want to hear about a really great vegan bratwurst, stay tuned to our dining review for the Plaza restaurant in Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Obviously, that's a sit-down restaurant compared to a festival booth, so I'm not really putting the two side to side, but I did have a really, really good vegan bratwurst there. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And finally, we're going to move on to the Italian booth where I had the arancini. It is vegetarian but not vegan, $5.99, fried risotto, wild mushrooms, truffle, and Parmesan cheese. This was the second best option I had all day, maybe competing with that jerk jackfruit from the Bahamas booth. It is really, really good. Your portion size is 3 fried balls for that $5.99 price tag, which is actually a pretty good portion size for an event like this. There are also a bunch of options I didn't get the chance to try on Fat Tuesday. When I go back, I'm going to sample some of these for you and put pictures and videos up on facebook.com/eartothererick. At the France booth, there's the Poached, Pear, Creme Brulee, Crepe, which is a vegetarian option for $8.99, red wine, poached pear, vanilla pastry cream, toasted almonds, caramel, and crispy sugar topping. That sounds out of this world. I can't imagine that I will not absolutely love it. At the Canada Pavilion, I know my wife Courtney is going to want to do the beef short rib poutine for $7.99, crispy fries with short rib, cheese curds, and a demi-glaze. I'll want the Nutella donut, that's vegetarian, $6.49, fried sweetened dough, Nutella, sugar, chopped hazelnuts, and there's a maple donut that is vegan for $6.49, which is fried sweetened dough, cinnamon sugar, and maple syrup. I also know that Courtney's going to want to go to the Cuban booth and try the Cuban sandwich for $7.99, roasted pork, serrano ham, Swiss cheese, mustard, and pickles on Cuban bread served with plantain chips. And then I'm going to want to get the Cuban flan, which is gluten-free and vegetarian, for $4.49. It's baked vanilla custard and dark caramel. The New Orleans booth has a ton of great seafood. I'm sure Courtney's going to try a lot of that. I will have a bunch of pictures. Like I said, facebook.com/eartothererick. I want to make sure I get as many of these options and show them to you as humanly possible. So that was my look at Universal Studios Mardi Gras 2021 International Flavors of Carnival. Like I said, the event is going on through March 28th. I have been very, very impressed with how Universal has handled this with everything going on in the world. Now, I would like to welcome my wife, Courtney, for a dining review. Hey, Courtney.
Thanks, Rick. Today we're going to be doing a dining review for the Plaza restaurant on Main Street, USA in Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World.
So I thought it would be fun at the end of some of our episodes to just throw in a quick dining review from one of the theme park restaurants, whether it be at Walt Disney World or Universal Orlando Resort, talk about our personal experiences, and then you can use that information to decide where you might want to eat on your next theme park vacation. When I was a kid and we would travel down from Pennsylvania to visit Walt Disney World, we used to eat here all the time. Our plan was to rope drop the park, get as many rides as we could in the morning, and then eat at the Plaza about 2 hours before the parade. That would put us in the air conditioning when the sun was at its hottest, and we'd be getting done with our lunch about an hour before the parade, right on Main Street, USA, so we could rush to the street and reserve our spot. As an adult, however, I just never really found myself going back to the Plaza, so this was my first time going to the Plaza in years. And when I say years, I mean literally decades in between visits to the Plaza restaurant on Main Street, USA. That changed recently when we were at the Magic Kingdom and we were looking at the virtual walk-up list. and the Plaza restaurant showed up, we could get a seat in 5 minutes, so we decided let's try it out again. The first thing we do have to mention, with everything going on, they did have to remove some tables, so the seating was definitely not as abundant as it has been in the past. It might be a little harder to get into the Plaza restaurant than maybe if you tried to go in 2019. That being said, it was a great experience. We started with the Plaza loaded fries. These are crispy fries with melted cheese, bacon, lettuce, and tomato. This is a $9 appetizer. Now, I will say that we asked for it without bacon because I am a vegetarian. Courtney, what did you think about the Plaza loaded fries?
So really, they were just standard theme park fries, and you had your nice melted cheese and fresh ingredients, so that's good, but I just don't know that they were worth the $9.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because when you hear loaded fries, you think a big plate overflowing with toppings and fries and cheese, and that was not this appetizer. It was a very tiny plate, a few fries sprinkled throughout the plate, and then some cheese on top of it. Did I enjoy every bite? Absolutely, but it's just not a $9 appetizer. I don't really think that's me nitpicking or having sticker shock, because when we start talking about our entrees, I do think they were worth it even with a theme park price tag attached. What was your entree, Courtney?
I had the home-style meatloaf, which was a hearty slice of meatloaf with mashed potatoes and seasonal vegetables. In our case, they were green beans, which were seasoned well, buttered, very good. The potatoes were good. They were creamy, home-style, kind of homemade. The meatloaf was exceptional. It was hearty, flavorful, had a really nice light tomato sauce, and overall, it was comfort food. Really enjoyed it. It was $22, which sounds a little bit expensive, but when you compare it to the appetizer especially, it was very filling, it was a huge portion, and I think that makes it definitely worth the price. There was just nothing wrong with it. You know you're going to be paying a premium inside Magic Kingdom, but at least I left full and it tasted great.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's a prime location. From our table, we could see Cinderella Castle. There was a character cavalcade that went by, and we could see all the princesses right from our seats inside the restaurant. So you are going to pay a premium for that. My entree was also $22. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a vegetarian, so I got the plant-based option, the Bangers and Mash. This is a plant-based bratwurst sausage, mashed potatoes, and mushroom gravy. This was a slam dunk. I absolutely loved this. The flavors were great. Like Courtney mentioned with hers being kind of comfort food, it was really hearty. I would say this is definitely a great place to get lunch at Magic Kingdom, because you get that energy to get back out there and do the rest of the day.
Yeah, I agree. This was my first time eating there, and I definitely will go back. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think this is a great option for a very specific type of food, that American comfort food style. In the interest of full disclosure, I do think that the best restaurants at the Magic Kingdom are leaving the Magic Kingdom and eating at some of the monorail resorts. That's one of the reasons I don't eat at the Plaza that often. But if you really want to stay inside Magic Kingdom all day, this is a great option.
Additionally, we were able to use our annual pass holder discount.
Well, thank you, Courtney, for joining me for this dining review of the Plaza restaurant on Main Street, USA in Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World.
Thanks for having me.
This has been another episode of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Next week, I'll be joined once again by my friend Jeff, a former Walt Disney World cast member who runs the blog Magical Pursuit. To raise money for charity, Jeff has agreed to go vegetarian for the month of March. As a vegetarian, I will share some of my favorite vegetarian options at Walt Disney World. Courtney will also be joining me again next week as we prepare for St. Patrick's Day. We'll be doing a dining review of Finnegan's Bar and Grill at Universal Studios, Florida. If you're checking us out on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It really helps us grow the show. And for a free, no obligation quote, because I am an authorized Disney vacation planner, I also have a lot of knowledge about Universal Orlando Resort as well, but I can plan any vacation for you. For a free, no obligation quote, shoot me an email, rick@eartotheretravel.com, rick@eartotheretravel.com. You can give me a phone call, 727-507-3123, 727-507-3123. Check me out on Facebook, facebook.com/eartothererick, twitter.com/rick_ear, and instagram.com/rickear2 and there. My services as a travel agent are always 100% free to you, and I definitely know what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to these theme parks. This has been episode 5 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next Thursday.